Nations finals is finally here. Nigeria versus Ivory Coast. Now, which of these two teams had the toughest route to the finals? Nigeria had two interesting games in the knockout stages, Angola and South Africa. They beat Angola 1-0. They beat South Africa on penalty kicks. Now, when you look at Ivory Coast, I think they had the toughest route to the finals, beating two of the best teams, two teams that are considered the best teams in this African Cup of Nations. I'm talking about Mali and I'm talking about Senegal. Ivory Coast showed some resilience. They proved that they could suffer even with 10 and later 9 men and still win a game. Now, that is the type of great Nigeria has to face today when they play Ivory Coast. It will be 90 minutes of football. That's if the game remains within 90 minutes. If it goes 120 minutes, rest assured it will be 120 minutes of football. So Nigeria has to be ready for that. Now, when I look at what some of the pundits are saying, giving Nigeria overwhelming favorites, I don't actually agree with that, because this game would be very, very competitive. In my opinion, Nigeria has not been that convincing. Yes, they've been very good defensively, considered the least amount of goals. I think so far in knockout stages, they considered just 2 teams were able to score against them in knockout stages. And all through the competition, they've considered just 3 goals. You know, defense wins championships, and that's recommendable. Ivory Coast, defensively, is not as strong as Nigeria. Today, if Ivory Coast has a chance to win, they have to come in concentrated, especially for the first 20 minutes. I know that as the game progresses, their defense has gotten better. But we saw in previous games where Ivory Coast was lousy in defense in the first minutes. They cannot do that against Nigeria. For Ivory Coast to win this game today, their midfield has to be very good. I'm talking about Seri, I'm talking about Fofana, I'm talking about Casey. Those 3 players have to match the energy of the Nigerians. Seri has to find a way to impact this game from deep. I know he's very good with the ball on his feet, but I'm not sure the Nigerians will give him that time to execute. So he has to find the spaces. He has to find the right weighted balls over the defense of the Nigerian, especially if the Nigerians play high. I don't see them playing high, but there are instances where that defense would have to move high in order to attack Ivory Coast. In the group stages game that these 2 teams played together, Ivory Coast was able to dominate possession, shots on target. Nigeria had only 1 shot on target in that game, and it was from the penalty spot. So Nigeria has to do better. Nigeria has to step up their game. Nigeria has to be more creative. This is the final. This is just 1 game. If they are not more creative and give Osimhen opportunities for him to score, because today, I think if Nigeria has to win this game, Osimhen has to score goals. Osimhen has to pose more threat than he has done in the previous games. He will not be good enough just impacting the game. He has to score, because today Ivory Coast is coming with the 12 men. Ivory Coast, I say, will pose more problems to Nigeria than they did in the first game when they played each other. For me, this game is not a one-sided game. It's more like a 50-50. Every team in this game has a chance to win it all. Yes, Osimhen against Hala, as some are putting it. I don't believe it's the same power up front. Osimhen is just a different beast. One of the few players that can actually change the game. And for Nigeria to win today, he has to actually come out and change the game. That's how I say it. So, with all the quality that Nigeria does have in attacking, they have to improve in the final third because they have not created as many opportunities for their strikers. You know, Nigeria plays more defensively and they're looking to counterattack. As fast as those players have been, they have not found the spaces. They are not able to return. So what Nigeria also needs to do is play better in that central midfield. Iwobi has to be more creative. He has to connect with the front players better. His problem in the last game when they played South Africa dominated him. And we saw he played maybe 50-something minutes. He was subbed early. So Iwobi has to do better. He has to be more physical because Ivory Coast will be physical. You know, the game will be very, very competitive. So for Nigeria to have that urge, Iwobi has to play better. Has to connect with the Lookmans, with Osimhen. They have to give him opportunities. And Osimhen, yes, many have protected him. He's been good so far, but he has to do more. I reiterate, he has to do more. It new soul so that feet of me, he roll right so. Sops you me in it. And I'm for the so.